Prologue. The ember in the ash. The crowd above the arena screamed for blood. A blur of sweat, firelight, and smoke danced on the walls as slavers banged fists against rusted railings, their drunken cheers echoing like war drums through the metal caverns of Vuren's underworld. In the center of the sand-stained arena stood a boy. He was barefoot, skinny, no older than 11. A smudge of dried blood split across his cheek like a scar, though it hadn't broken skin. His dark eyes were calm, eerily calm, unblinking. Not from shock, but from awareness. Stillness wrapped around him like armor. Across from him, his opponent loomed, a 14-year-old enforcer in training named Jack, muscle-packed and snarling, wielding a jagged iron cudgel almost as tall as Kyel himself. The weapon was crude but effective. In the last bout, it had split a girl's collarbone open like fruit. The handlers barked from the edges of the pit. "Begin!" Jack roared forward. Kyel didn't move. He simply watched, eyes not locked on the weapon, but the way Jack's hip twitched just before his swing, the slight stutter in his left knee. The cudgel came down with the force of a sledgehammer. Kyel stepped to the side like wind slipping through a crack. The cudgel slammed into stone, spraying dust and shards into the air. Kyel moved, not like a trained duelist, like something else, a predator with no wasted energy. He ducked beneath the next swing, leapt onto Jack's thigh, and drove the sharpened end of his collar shiv straight into the bigger boy's neck. Jack's eyes widened. The crowd fell silent for half a beat, stunned. Blood sprayed. Jack stumbled, hands flailing to grab Kyel, but the boy was already gone, rolling backward, landing light on his feet. The larger boy dropped to his knees, gurgled, collapsed. A few gamblers booed. One shouted, "Too fast!" I lost 5 credits. The silence shattered. A wall of sound, cheers, outrage, disbelief rose again like a storm. High above, in the observation booth behind a layer of tinted armor glass, a figure watched without speaking. Darth Malvex, robed in black and crimson, remained still. His face was hidden by a veil of shadows, but his eyes blazed with gold beneath his hood. He did not clap. He did not flinch. He observed. The slaver beside him leaned in, voice slick with pride. "That one? He's called Kyel. Survived 27 fights. Never breaks the rules. Never speaks unless asked. Don't know where he came from, but he's a quick study. A real favorite in the eastern sectors." Malvex did not respond. His eyes remained fixed on the boy in the pit. On the way, Kyel knelt beside Jack's body, not in reverence, but in acknowledgement. Not regret, not triumph. Just a moment of presence, as if saying, "I see you, and now you are gone." The boy stood and turned toward the gate without waiting for permission. A handler reached to strike him for the lack of ceremony. Malvex's hand twitched. The force lashed out like a whip. The handler flew backward with a choking scream, neck twisted violently as he hit the stone wall. Guards reached for weapons. The lights flickered. Slavers began to shout, but it was too late. Malvex raised a single hand, and the entire chamber bent to his will. Screams turned into gurgles. Metal groaned and buckled. Lights shattered in sequence like falling stars. He stepped from the booth and into the pit. The crowd fled. Those who stayed died. The boy stood perfectly still. Malvex approached, boots clicking across blood-soaked stone. "You did not run." "No." "You do not fear me." Kyel tilted his head slightly. "Should I?" Malvex allowed a faint smile. "What do you want, boy?" Kyel glanced at the corpses, then at the smoking walls of the arena. "To never be weak again." Malvex extended a hand, black leather and bone. You can die in this place, or follow me into something worse than death. Kyle looked at the hand, then at the sky above, the glimpse of Vurin's moons beyond the open ceiling, then back to Malvex. I will follow. And so he did. And the galaxy, though it didn't yet know it, would bleed for it.